This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the dawn of first light, the sun dance of daylight, would you wait for me? As the days dance wildly.
Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where tonight my friends and I will be playing the Mothership role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is called Melpomene, or Melpomene. It was written by Morgan Llewellyn about 30 minutes ago, and he is our game warden. This is a one-shot. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Morgan?
Thank you very much, Thom. The ship Olympus 3 glides silently through the vacuums of space towards an unnamed and largely uncharted moon in a far-flung system that has escaped any notice, commercial development, colonization. Some would deem it an irredeemable backwater. Alistair Westbrook, however, has found it to be the site of inspiration. Having won a grant from the University of Mars' College of Arts, one of the few remaining arts programs still in existence in the Sol system, he has spent the last 100 years living out here on this moon alone. 1 year ago, 99 years into his 100-year grant, a team was assembled at the University of Mars to arrive just in time to retrieve him. Most members of that crew are currently sleeping in cryo on Olympus 3. Only the ship AI itself and the lone android attendant who has kept watch in the long dark for these 365 days. Tex, how have you been spending your time on Olympus 3 as the humans under your charge have been sleeping?
Well, I just have some duties I have to attend to every day, making sure all doing all kinds of diagnostics and things, but it leaves me a lot of free time. So I've been listening to a lovely man named Garth Brooks on repeat for 365 days.
Your listening is interrupted as the very calm voice of Olympus 3 beams directly into your head. Good morning, Tex.
What's up, little lady?
It is time to awake the others.
All right. Well, let's start the protocols to get them out of cryo and give them a big Texas welcome.
The companies that manufacture cryo units make many claims about their functionality. One prevailing myth, marketing myth, is that it's seamless. You go under and you wake back up, close your eyes, and before you know it, they're open again. Anyone who has traveled long haul can tell you that this is, as they would say colloquially, bullshit. The 4 humans aboard, you have been having all manner of dreams on your journey. Dr. Itak Kalat, what have you been dreaming about?
Well, I was caught in a sandstorm on Mars a number of years ago, and the visibility went down to 0, and I was quite lost fortunately, someone found me, but I've had nightmares about that incident many, many times. Um, I'm wondering. I can taste the acid sort of taste of the dust and the flint, and realize that I'm probably going to die and be buried, and nobody will know where I am. Uh, it's mostly a dream of terror, uh, one that I've never quite gotten over. I don't usually go outside the dome uh, anymore.
And so this dream, when you have it, usually, I mean, you wake up in a cold sweat eventually, but cryo keeps that suppressed. You've lost track of how much time you've spent wandering through this endless dust, the iron taste in your mouth, the cuts on your skin from the blowing grains of sand. Your throat burns with thirst. And after an eternity of this, you finally hear a voice calling out to you. You could barely hear it over the wind. Dr. Kalat. Dr. Kalat.
Uh, uh, water, please. Where am I?
We are arriving in orbit, Dr. Kalat.
Uh, 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 pardon me for a few moments. I I seem to have lost track of what was real and what was not, but uh, I could use water. Am I still restrained inside the
Yeah,
pod?
you're still inside the pod.
Let remove the restraints, please, quickly.
Tex, could you attend to Dr. Kalat, please?
I'm feeling
certainly
for the
will.
dirt in my mouth, but there's not any in my nose.
Well, good morning, Dr. Kalat. How'd you sleep there, sir?
Not well at all, Tex. Not well at all.
Let me get you out of this thing.
Feels like I haven't been given my proper liquid nutrients. I'm very dry. I think I'm very dry.
You should be ready. Let's get you a glass of water and we'll get you a good old-fashioned breakfast.
So while
Whatever
this is
they
going
say,
on,
this is, yeah, whatever they say, that's not true. I had horrible nightmares.
Really? It's supposed to be like going to sleep, closing your eyes, and then opening them up again. That's what I've always heard.
So much for modern technology.
Yeah, I don't require sleep, so I wouldn't know.
Sergeant Taryn Merrick.
Yeah. It's going over back and forth through these memories of combat being deployed against during the 3 weeks of riots on Helos 3. I accidentally took out a group of civilians. That's what orders were, but of course, as soon as the news of it flooded the video feeds, the Corp bait us, backed out, and left us high and dry. So, first discharge happened there. A few years later, things got worse. Got in a fight in a bar outside Luna. Again, another bad knock, another moment of disgrace, and finally found myself here. Picked up a job, but I think back in my dreams, thinking of all those people's faces before we fired on them, and I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
you're standing there on Helos 3. You're looking through your targeting system. All those faces, the AI has lined them, boxed them all in red. Target acquired, it says. You hear that voice crackling on the radio. Well, what the fuck are you waiting for?
Light them up, boys. That's right. I was.
As you see light him up, you see one of those faces in the crowd turns to you. You recognize her as Dr. Erica Thornton, the Dean of the College of Arts at the University of Mars, who interviewed you for this very job. And as your finger is pressing the button and the whistle of the micro rockets fire, she says, "I think you're the man for the job, Sergeant Merrick. Welcome aboard." And you wake up.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Every time it comes back like it was yesterday.
Good morning, Sergeant Merrick.
Yeah, I've heard it before. Are we there?
We will be arriving in orbit in the next 4 hours. I thought I should
Good.
wake you now so you have time to ready yourself to meet Alistair Westbrook.
Oh yeah, our artist. Yeah, sounds good. Oh,
Nikki Gray,
Yes.
what visions come to your mind?
A lot of things probably are swimming through Nikki's mind. A lot of like extreme sports is what he specializes in. So like he probably dreams about wingsuit flying through, like the frozen mountains of Io or something, or through like the rings of Saturn, or like more recently he's been doing like on the ground type things, like extreme climbs and descents and ascents. Uh, and sometimes he thinks about his idol, a guy who called himself Sharky Mogul, who surfed the first 1,000-foot wave. And he thinks about like what that must have felt like to be like surfing 1,000-foot wave, and just like how much balls that must have taken. And a lot of girls, and how to get the adulation of girls and everybody really.
Yeah, so your dream is a cocktail of adrenaline. You crest alien peaks, you ride alien waves, strobes flash, raves, clubs,
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
the taste of alcohol, um, the flirtatious voices of young women, flashing lights, loud music. And you awake with your heart pounding.
Fuck yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Gray.
Oh, bro. It's too early.
I have awakened you at precisely 4 hours before arrival, as programmed.
Oh, man. My head hurts.
Unfortunately, there is no snooze option for waking out of cryo, I'm afraid.
Okay, all right. And I'm just gonna put my headphones in immediately.
And Doctor, remind me how you say your name, your character's name, Jen.
Nemosine.
Nemosine Carter. Dr. Menosine Carter. I'll get it by the end, I hope.
All right. What I remember, or at least the dream that comes to me most often when I'm in this cryo state, um, was this dig I did in like the middle of the Amazon when I was still in grad school. And they had just found the remnants of what appeared to be an attempt at a settlement by some sort of alien civilization that never quite got off the ground. Not sure why. That's partly why we were investigating the ruins. And at the dig site, I have got this giant giant wall in front of me where it appears like some sort of pictographs had been scratched in from what appeared to be insectoid claws, maybe? But it's hard to tell. And I just remember staring at this wall and knowing, I know what this says. I know what this says, but it's just not coming to me because I can't you can't actually read text for the most part in dreams. So it's like I'm staring at a blank wall going, I know what this says, but why can't I think of it? And I've and I remember near the very end of that moment, I turn around at in this dream, and suddenly I'm the only one at the dig site. And that was definitely not true. There's a crew of about 15 of us on this thing, but they've all vanished. And now I'm realizing I have to do all this work myself.
Yeah,
Great.
you look for the others. There are no others. The hovercraft that brought you all here is gone. The tools are all gone. It's as though you've always been here. And you wander these ruins, these corridors, this writing you don't understand. And you imagine this being scratching into this rock. And you get the distinct impression that it was also alone. And that's the thought you have as you wake up.
Oh,
Good morning, Dr. Carter.
oh, good morning, Olympus. Oh, thank heavens it's not 80 degrees with 50% humidity out there in here.
Yes, the ship is currently at 72.5 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes, I will certainly not complain that I'm no longer in the middle of the Amazon. I give a bit of a stretch as I'm sitting up. Oh, am I the last one up? I say as I'm glancing around, sort of rubbing at my eyes a little.
I like got
Yeah,
over my sluggishness, and I'm already up. I'm starting to do jumping jacks and stretching, and I'm like,
Oh, Mr. Gray, there you are.
yeah,
Active already, I see. I say as I
yeah.
swing my legs out of my pod.
What's going on today?
Well, in about how long, Olympus?
It'll only be a few hours before we're in orbit.
Ah, and then we'll be picking up our artist friend if he's still alive, and hopefully then get him back to the university and see what happened.
Can't wait
Oh,
to talk to him.
as I can't either. I'm very intrigued to see what he may have come up with all this time, but 100 years on a planet, sorry, 100 years on a moon by yourself takes a certain type of person to do that.
I know, right? That's commitment.
Mm-hmm.
I respect
Although
that.
I kind of frown a little bit trying to recall how he had planned to make it 100 years. Because I'm sure that, with technology these days, the standard human lifespan is longer than it used to be, but 100 years.
Yes,
You guys,
Alistair Westbrook's success as an artist has allowed him to buy very expensive augmentations, gene therapy, anything one could want to extend their life a few hundred
There's
years.
there's
Okay.
also no germs of any kind on that planet. At least none that he would be susceptible to. So
Oh, good morning, Itak. Were you first or second up, if I remember how you are correctly?
I don't know. I was so thirsty when I woke up. Did you all have dreams? I thought we weren't
yeah.
supposed to dream.
Yeah, I was basically replaying the Amazon expedition, if you remember that one.
Yeah, at least that's interesting. I was just stuck in a dust storm for however
Oh,
long it took us to get here.
oh no.
Um, shall we get something in our bellies? I think that we can get the ship to produce some decent food for breakfast.
Oh, I've been working on something all waiting for you guys all to wake up. I got a real hearty Southern breakfast for you.
well,
I-
how about that?
I-
Lots of coffee.
I look forward to it, Tex. Thank you. Oh, coffee,
No.
you say? I I grin as I run a thumb across my patch. Powered by coffee.
Did you have a chance to practice over the last 365 days? Your grits were always awful, but you should have mastered them by now.
Well, I did spend a few days in a row working on them, just making batches and
We'll see.
recycling them. And
No raisins, good God.
oh God, no, these are you might like these grits. It's called cheesy grits. They put a little cheese,
Ooh.
and that kind of makes them a little more. Well, I can't really taste, so I don't know. I guess you'll tell me.
Bro,
I've had
you
a lot
can't eat
worse.
cheese? You know what that does to your digestive system?
It's so good, though, I hear.
Gives you more energy because it has both protein and fat in it, Mister Macro Maxer.
Also, one of the things that actually created civilization, the ability to preserve milk products.
Mm-hmm. And being able to grow your own food.
I don't know
Well, I'm
about you,
getting
but I'm not creating any civilizations today, so I'm going to stick with my proto bar. And by the way, coffee's bad for you too.
I give him a very long glare. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We don't intend on living 500 years like you.
Oh, I'm not going to live 500 years. I'm
Yeah,
going to
and
go
I-
out in a blaze of glory.
No, I don't require any sort of nourishment. So, in fact, the whole thing is kind of it just seems very wasteful eating anything. You should just,
Are you kidding?
do?
We got a few hours till we land. We pick this guy up, and then we're going to be right back in those pods for another year. So we're going to eat now and enjoy it.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you don't have to go right back in. You might take a couple weeks. Or, we all put
My
maybe
goodness,
Texas Hold'em.
is our android lonely?
Well, I had spent a lot of time with Mr. Garth Brooks, who's a note country star I found from the olden times, and you guys like sort of notice in the background that the same Garth Brooks song has been playing on a repeated loop over. It's not an album, just one song.
One song, "Friends in Low Places."
Yeah,
Over and
pretty
over.
much.
I don't know. I don't go for that ancient music.
I wince a little bit. You couldn't have at least tried the Thunder Rolls at some point?
Well, maybe for the trip back.
Oh, I think we should all be honest about this. I'm going to put down 100 credits right now, saying we're walking in and finding a corpse.
Possible.
Oh, I don't know. In the history of mankind, there have been quite a few people who have gone off into the wilderness and lived by themselves their entire lives. It certainly is possible. I mean, they
Totally.
gave him enough foodstuffs to last that long.
It's a
He's
lot
a
of time to
master.
think.
And
Well,
could-
unless he had an accident. That's the only.
well, and all those augments he got, gene splicing and everything, it wouldn't shock me if maybe he made himself more durable.
It doesn't have much to do with the health or the body. It's the mind that's the thing. All that time
There's
to think.
a thin atmosphere on this planet that we can breathe. Just a little harder.
The atmosphere oxygen concentration is very low,
Oh,
maintained by sparse populations of photosynthesizing microorganisms around
gonna
the
be
moon's
like-
equator.
So,
So-
a Nitox injection should.
Non-augmented humans without pharmaceutical or cybernetic support will struggle to breathe.
We must have. We got some. We got
12 cc's of Nitox each should allow us to
Hey,
breathe.
got some O2 tanks too. If you
for
wanted to
for a
throw
hot
those
second
too.
there, I thought we were going to be dealing with spacesuits.
No.
He's going to be like my
That is an
sensei.
option for anyone who
I'm going to
would
learn
prefer
everything
not
there is
to.
to know about surviving on Mars from this dude.
I have been stuck in a tin can, and I point at it, for way too long to put myself in another one.
Fair point, fair point.
Tex,
I will
I'll get
go-
another.
I will go commando, as they say.
I do not believe that is what that means, Dr. Callett.
Without external protection. Unless, of course, there's blistering sand,
That's-
which I am tired of also.
Not that I recall, I believe this particular moon was said to be somewhat icy.
The poles of the moon are very cold.
Well, we'll do what
There
we
is liquid water around the equator, the
That's something at
equatorial
least.
regions.
Hmm. Where exactly did he set up his little hermitage? Do you know?
He was deposited near the northern edge of the equatorial belt.
Okay.
can. Did he receive regular supplies? Or was he given
That
enough?
was deemed too expensive. He was given enough to last 150 years, just in case.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So
I
he
estimate a 96.72% chance that Dr. Alistair Westbrook is alive and well.
Barring accidents, yes, he should be. Although he may be stark raving mad, too.
Mm-hmm.
Isolation can do
What's the
that.
chance of him being alive and not well?
It depends on if he painted a face on a basketball or something and made it his best friend.
And now who's making references to ancient media?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'll get another plate of those grits there, Tex.
All right.
Yes.
You like those, Sarge? How'd I do?
Not bad at all.
All right.
Please tell me you have hash browns.
Better than last time.
Would I disappoint you? And he brings out a big iron skillet full of hash browns.
There might be a little bit of a squee and a potatoes before he dives up into those.
I'm just gonna be like, bro, are those potatoes? No.
I thought you weren't eating carbs.
I'm going to go up to the bridge so that I can get a look at the planet that's coming towards us.
So you get up onto the bridge. There are a number of panels, stations that you could man. All the lights in those are off. There is a central, suspended from the roof. There is a dome that does have lights that is to indicate that Olympus is running the onboard AI. But you can see through the viewports that it's orbiting, the moon itself is orbiting a gas giant. And it's one of about 17 moons, but it is the largest of them. The star that is orbit is hotter than the sun, the Earth
So it's
orbit.
a blue star.
Yeah. So despite the gas giants and being pretty far away from the star, it's still the moon itself is still warm enough to you're not gonna, yeah, there's liquid water and it's equator, so
I'll take a
waves?
look at it.
but this other than you're one of the few humans who have ever set eyes on any of this.
Are there waves?
Yes, in the equatorial water belts there are waves in the larger
Right.
bodies of water.
Quite complex ones, depending on all of the other orbiting objects.
Mm.
But so you see the moon itself, you see some tinges of green in its center, and then it goes off into this kind of brownish gray rock to the ice caps. So there's this gradient transition that you see. There does seem to be some geological, geothermic activity, as there are mountains you can see throughout
While they're on the
across the
deck,
surface.
I think that Sergeant Merrick is going to head down to what passes for our cargo bay. And after a quick glance to make sure he's alone, he's going to open up one of the side compartments and reach behind the first aid kit and grab a nice little bottle he stashed away of synthetic whiskey. And again, checking to make sure he's alone, he pulls off the cap and takes a long drag or long pull from it, and kind of holds his hand and watches his hand shake, and then stops, recaps it, and puts it back in the containment again, and just stands there and thinks.
Sergeant Merrick,
Yeah.
should you require some dampening of your nervous system, we have plenty of things we could supply you that would also not impair your judgment.
Yeah, bury my judgment.
I won't tell the
whole point.
others,
I know you're a
but
good
I
bot.
would encourage that you exercise caution.
Yeah, well, the day I made the worst decision of my life, I was stone cold sober. So you'll have to pardon me a moment of excess now.
I'm going to stick myself into a window with a stim recorder, and I'm just going to be like, check it out. We're sitting here above a planet full of terrain that nobody has surfed, nobody has climbed, just one person may have set foot on. Awesome. And I'm just going to pan it around on the surface. I can see waves, man. I can see waves down there.
I sort of chuckled through a mouthful of potatoes as I see him doing this. I can't but think, was I ever that young?
So unless anyone wants to do anything or talk to anyone, well, a few hours slip by. For Olympus 3 says, we are now in orbit. I have tried to contact Alistair Westbrook, but I have gotten no response.
That's concerning.
Maybe his communication system's down.
Could be.
If
Let's
any
go
of you
get
wanna-
him.
If any of you want to pay up now,
Let's not
Well-
jump to conclusions, Sergeant.
Is there a way we can visually signal him that we're here? Perhaps a hydrogen flare or something. He'll see our ship flying overhead. He'll at least know to come where we're landing.
That is a very good idea, Dr. Callett. I will deploy the flares. We should be like a bright star in the sky, even if the sun is out.
Getting poetic on us, Olympus?
Poetic?
Now, he's expecting us, isn't he? Did
Yeah.
they tell him 100 years we'd be back? Okay.
And it has been exactly 100 years. And so we have come to retrieve him, as per the agreement.
Wonderful.
What do y'all plan on doing? Are you going to spend some time on the planet, maybe a week or two before you head back, or?
Possibly if there's something interesting that he's found.
Oh, we're going to check out his camp, man.
We
and
are
see how he did it.
scientists.
100 years.
I'm just worried he's going to have so much finger painting and other little projects stored up that we're not going to be able to fit all that crap on the ship.
We have sufficient cargo bay for
Sergeant Merrick, you should be pleased to hear that Alistair Westbrook works with implanted experiences.
Oh, of course. One of them.
Well, it may be possible, but he has done some work with physical mediums. The bulk of his work should easily fit within our ship's computer storage capacities.
Well, that's a relief to hear, but 100 years is still a long time.
Actually, is there, by the way, Olympus, was he by any chance dropped off with a distress beacon, location tracker, something, so we know where to find him?
He was given that equipment, yes.
Can you run a scan to see if it's currently working, so we at least have we can possibly
Yes,
try to emulate his location?
I have gotten pings from the equipment that was left at the landing site.
Well, that's something at least. All right.
Do we have something like a biological scan? We could see if there's a simian walking around.
Let's just go down there and have a look.
It's unfortunately, finding a single organism over such ranges is very difficult.
Well,
Right. Well,
we'll go to where the equipment is, and we'll
Mhm.
be fine.
and then if he left anything to sort of say that he's gone somewhere else, we can probably track him from there.
If you will all make your way to the landing shuttle.
Okay. As we're making our way in, I do rifle through my first aid kit to find what was that stuff you said it was? It was called the
The nitrox?
nitrox. Yeah, thank you. To find a nitrox nitrox injector. Let's see. About 12 cc's. There we go.
That should
I-
oxidate your blood for 3 hours.
I very quickly change out the cartridge. Anybody else want it?
Oh, yeah.
Hand it over.
Yeah.
That's that stuff.
What is it you're using again?
Nitrox. It'll oxidate your blood for 3 hours.
Oh, totally, bro.
So that way we don't have to like carry
Have-
tanks or wear suits or something.
Right. Have
Yeah.
you used it before, Nikki?
Oh, yeah, bro, all the time.
Okay. Because it still feels kind of weird not being able to breathe with your mouth.
Bro, this is like something I do every week.
Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
Don't panic.
Switch out cartridge. Here we are. And
I remember
gave you the
being,
injection. Sergeant, do you
being
want
at a
it?
bar
Yep.
bar
Should be
on,
okay.
a-
Okay.
one of the moons around Saturn, and there was this place called Nitrox Bar, and I
Mhm.
swear to God, those people taking it was like they were on cocaine.
If you over oxygenate, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they had a whole bar set up for them to do it, and
Yes, I can
So-
imagine what a whole bunch of nitrox high people might be doing. But anyway,
So the shuttle it detaches from Olympus 3. It's very smooth, it's very slow in its descent. The weather is clear today. As you start breaking through the thin atmosphere and lowering to the ground, you get a better look. It seems as though the landing site is situated in the vicinity of 3 large lakes.
Kind of picturesque.
As you land, you see the glinting light off of metal surfaces, solar panels, and so forth. The shuttle lands in what seems to be marked still clearly after all this time as a landing zone.
Or are we doing military protocol? Security first?
Worth checking out. I can't see there being much risk here, but at the same time, better safe than sorry. Ship seems to have full clearance here.
Remember, he's the asset, so he could be completely mad, but we still want him alive and functioning.
You see me flicking through my first aid kit. I believe I have at least 1 or 2 sedative cartridges in here, so we should be fine in that regard.
You know what? Let's run a final scan just to see if there's been any other company while we've been away.
So you do a scan for any equipment that doesn't have a ID tag associated with the university inventory list that you were provided with, and you don't find anything that's you don't expect to find.
Well, I think we're clear. Let's disembark and have a look for him.
Yeah, I'm just immediately going to be talking into the stim recorder going, here we are at the landing site. No sign of Alistair Westbrook. But this is where it all happened. This is where he spent 100 years on the planet's surface, all alone. Amazing.
So yeah, you look out, Nikki Gray, and the largest of the 3 lakes. You see there's some pretty sizable. The wind is fairly high today. You're not too familiar with the weather on this planet, but looking at clouds that are starting to form on your way down, and now you're standing on the ground, do you think it might rain here in the next day or two? It's cold, or cooler, say it's about 62 degrees. In my blasphemous American Fahrenheit. And so it's cool. The waves are high. And that's the only sound you hear is the wind and the waves.
And the interesting smells.
Yeah, you smell. It smells like the water has the spray off these lakes, or the wind coming off the lakes has a very mineral smell to it. It's pretty salty, these lakes.
100 years with just wind and waves, bro. He's going to be like a Zen master.
I'm presuming they sent him with desalination equipment, because I can't imagine that this water is potable as is.
No.
The Olympus 3, or the Olympus AI, you on the planet, basically you have little communication devices with you, and it says that is correct. The water is not safe to drink.
Okay.
What kind of natural light cycle do we have at the moment?
It's early afternoon, you'd guess.
Okay.
The position of the star in the sky. The blueness, through the blueness of the sky, you see the patterns of the gas giant pretty clearly still, despite the starlight. The planet, in approximately 5 days' time, the moon will slip into the shadow of the gas giant, at which point the temperature will plummet.
Yeah. Olympus, can you run some predictive weather analysis and see if we're in for anything in the meantime between now and then? If anything stalls us
any
getting off
scans I
this
could do
place.
is rudimentary. There should be weather equipment that was left
Present?
for Alistair Westbrook.
Okay.
Should you find that has been training its model on this moon specifically on this moon's weather and nothing else, so it should have.
depending what we find there may necessitate us leaving quicker than later if need be. But I suggest we find whatever structure he was using as a workshop or home and see if we can locate him.
Right. All right. I'm assuming we're off the shuttle right now, or are we still on the shuttle?
If we can smell,
You
we're probably.
We're
yeah,
landing.
the
so
shuttle
apparently we can smell.
like ramp has gone down, so I assumed a few of you have stepped.
Yeah.
Sergeant Merrick
Okay.
went first.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Dr. Kalat has followed him, so they're standing at the base of the ramp.
Okay.
And I think Mr. Gray is also.
All right. Well, I'm just like, well, Tex, you coming? I say as I hoist my pack and follow the others.
Lead the way.
Ooh. I sort of murmur as I come down to the bottom of the ramp. This is pretty.
I'm like narrating the whole time into my stem recorders. Like, this is where it all happened. 100 years on the planet's surface all alone with just wind and rain and nothing else, man. Imagine what's supposed to be going through that guy's head. When we find him, we're gonna find out how he did it. We're gonna be the first ones to pick this guy's brain.
Yeah, like
I
to
can
be
see
picking it off the wall.
I can see the relay antenna over there. About 2:00.
Oh,
Yeah, so
very
there's all
good.
these. You don't see anything by way of like a habitation, like a long-term habitation tent
Mhm.
you would expect. But there are these clusters of equipment that have been designed for long-term use and exposure.
Mhm.
And the archaeologists among you would be pretty familiar. It's pretty standard
Yep.
equipment, nothing like state of the art, let's say. Or it might have been new 100 years ago, but that was 100 years ago.
All right.
Is there
Alright.
any signs of anything amiss, stuff scattered around, or if any signs
Everything
of kind
seems very well organized.
Okay,
And since you're looking, I'm not going to make you roll, Sergeant Merrick.
cool.
You look, there seems to be there is definitely well-worn tracks in the ground
Pathways, yep. Tread on and trod upon for years
Yeah.
and years.
that someone has, and in some cases, there's like definitely there are footpaths where someone has come and gone, and one of those heading up towards the polewards. You see there at the where you see there's one track that's caused by foot traffic, and then flanking that on either side looks like a sled or wheels or something has been going back and forth polewards.
Let's see if we
Away
can find
from
a
the lake.
habitation.
Yes. Although I would like to at least very quickly check out like some of the stuff that's been left here to see if there's been any activity on it recently. You never know.
Well, how far do we got? Like maybe a half a mile to get to the antenna array, and
So from the landing site, yeah, I mean things are pretty spread out. The central relay of all the computers that's been talking to the Olympus 3 in orbit. That's taking about 5 minutes to walk over to it. It's definitely the tallest thing around. Up off the distance on the other side of the lakes, you see mountains.
Mhm.
Kind of low or medium sized. They're nothing, they're not the Himalayas.
what's the surface of the ground like? Dust or ice or snow?
It's icy, like it's snowed, and the
Crunches.
snow is like kind of the ground is, despite how warm it, like relatively warm it is right now, the ground has that kind of hard, almost not permafrost, but
Mhm.
But it crunches under our feet probably
yeah.
as we walk.
Okay.
there's like in the shadow of rocks, there's ice. The ground's not very even.
Okay.
There's not plants or things like that.
But it's not like wet, slippery ice. It's
No,
just
it's not. Yeah.
As I'm sort of looking around, I'm like, I can see why he would want to at least get some inspiration from this place. It has an
Yes.
almost serene quality to it.
Yes, but you could get that from just photographs. You don't need to live here for 100 years.
100 years is a long time to live anywhere.
I've noticed that humans like to change the scenery once in a while. Maybe he, in this 100 years, decided to move somewhere else for a bit.
Well, I gestured to the tracks heading poleward. Looks like he's definitely been making trips this direction a lot.
Yeah. Taking something with him by the looks of it.
If we can find his home base, and then he should eventually come back to his home base.
Did he have
we
some
can-
kind of vehicle?
It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's just been walking.
With a wheelbarrow?
He might have built it.
Maybe a sled. Yeah.
Before we leave our shuttle, let's check the weather assembly.
Yeah,
and
if
see
you look
what
at the
we can-
tracks closely, it seems they were made by a flat object being
Sled
dragged
type,
along the
yeah.
ground, not wheels.
So a sled of some sort.
He was probably dragging it. Is there any known life forms that might be able to use like sled dogs or something?
There's
No
no
pop-
advanced life.
He was probably pulling it on himself.
Hmm.
At least if I'm looking at these tracks properly.
Can we assume that the gravity here is a lot less than on Earth? So
Yeah.
dragging something heavy would even be fairly easy on
hmm
this planet, this moon.
So if he'd wanted to, he could have moved most of his equipment, but decided not to.
Oh, just multiple trips, perhaps, or but
Well, hopefully he saw us land, and if he's somewhere in the neighborhood. If not,
Is there
he'll
a-
notice us eventually when he.
Mhm.
yeah, speaking of eventually, is there anything I see that looks like that weather assembly?
Yeah, nestled among the central computing equipment. So, yeah, in the center, if you think of this as a circular space,
Yeah.
you landed at the edge of the circle. You walk into its center. Yeah, there's this assemblage of gear,
Yeah,
computer
not quite a command
systems,
center, but-
and not quite a command center. And there are these tall fan-like appendages of solar panels. So you assume that you don't know where else the weather or
yeah.
system would be.
Start looking over stuff. Maybe call techs over.
Looks like you have a solar-based power system. I'll look and see if there's any wires or anything or cables going to any of the huts or any of the things around there.
Everything powered.
Everything is powered. Do you think that any cables that are running between the smaller little hubs have all been buried, or they were?
All right. Maybe we should knock on one of the doors, see if he's in there. Go inside.
Might not be a bad idea.
But you do find the weather system.
Nice.
There's an analog interface. There's also interfaces to where you can plug directly into it if you have those sets of augmentations.
Stuff is 100 years old.
Man, a
X,
lot of
do you have looks like a DL prong? Can you jack into this thing?
let me get in there, take a look around. It's old technology, but I mean, come on, everything really hasn't changed in 1,000 years. It's all based on the same principles. So, Tux will try to interface.
Yeah, as you make your comment about things haven't changed that much, you don't have a single compatible port.
Well, I'm gonna have
Well,
to work on this.
Let's do what was suggested. Oh, knock on the-
Yeah, you go around and you knock on each of these little buildings and you don't hear a response.
Hmm. Maybe he's away from camp for a bit.
Do we have like a, a little probe that we can send up into the air and have it fly around and look?
Yeah, you send out a little drone.
Little drone, yeah.
So the
The
drone,
bat.
yeah, you send out the bat. Uh, and as the bat is flying around, you can ask Olympus 3 questions as it's controlling the bat. So
See if you can locate him.
I have sent the bat to a 30-mile radius from where we landed, and there is still no sign of him.
I mean, he moved away.
The path that has been identified heading polewards seems to continue for some way.
Now, why would he move to the pole where it's colder?
He's not that far away. Maybe you should follow up that path a bit with the bat bot and see if you see anything. Maybe get some more clues. What's the do we have like I know we're communicating with the ship and we can communicate with each other probably. We have that, but do we have any like sort of way of communicating, like different frequencies or something that we can put out a call on to see if he's picking anything up and answering?
I have been hailing from orbit and from the shuttle on all known frequencies.
And no reply, huh? Well, he's probably so used to not getting any calls. So
It may be that the artist has lost track of time.
it's quite possible. How does
Well,
Is there any art around?
No.
I have an internal clock, but
As you go from hut to hut,
Okay.
you do find one that has been set up for someone to live in, but it looks unused.
we can see that through a window. We can't actually get into it.
Well, I mean, can't is an interesting word.
We
Nothing here
can't
is
easily.
locked.
We have to do, yeah. I'm
Well,
going to.
I do have
Like,
a lot. I do have a
any-
lockpick kit.
It seems like they're like a rudimentary lock just to keep it from blowing open.
Hmm.
But it's not anything that any of you would really have problems. If you really want to get in somewhere, you can
Anybody
get in.
have jury rigging?
I have a lockpick set.
Well, see
Yeah,
if you can
so-
get into it.
Is there any
Yeah,
sign
the
of
most you don't have to roll. If you have the lockpick kit,
yeah?
these
Yeah.
locks again, they're more who's going to show up here to rob this place.
Right.
Right.
All
I
right.
have
So
jury rigging and I've got mechanical repair and a screwdriver.
So we can get in.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I reach onto like my tool belt, pull out my lockpick. One moment, please. Do. Clicky click. Pop. All right. There we are.
Yeah, so you get in, and if somebody used this sleeping quarters, this rudimentary sleeping quarters, it was a long time ago.
Oh,
Like this is it's pretty cramped, but the idea would be that you would sleep out of here at the beginning as you set up your primary home.
Okay, so maybe
And
this
then
was
you would move
landing
out.
on- yeah.
Okay.
Is there any sign of human or material waste?
Scanning the ground, you detect there is a place where there is human organic material, but it's old.
Is there a computer terminal in there, or maybe even some like old-fashioned journal books or log books or anything lying around?
So you find where there'd be space, like just under, like Olympus 3 can just send you the schematics of how the inventory of how this place was set up. There were things for personal effects, books, even physical books, personal tablets, computers, etc. That is missing from the personal
Uh-oh.
hab. Everything else remains.
So he must. So if he moves somewhere else,
Yeah.
who would take that with him?
Dr. M, have you got replacement shots for us when the current
Oh,
runs out?
yes, of course.
Okay. I suggest we make a quick foray following the path that was laid out forwards. We set a reasonable amount of time in which to travel, send the bat on ahead of us, see if it can scout out within perhaps 3 hours of travel. We turn back and come back to the shuttle if we haven't found him, disembark from this location and move to a new.
The bat already went out 30
It's
miles.
All
Is that
maybe we-
correct?
Yes, the bat has
Yes.
now gone out 50 miles, and the end
Yeah.
of the path
It's
has
fast.
still not been
We
found.
we can't
Yeah.
walk that. We
No,
can get
we
in the
can't.
shuttle and
Yeah.
fly out there.
Yeah, probably the best idea because that would be too much.
Yeah.
I doubt we'd make it to the end of the path before this moon went behind the gas giant at that pace.
No. So, well, we should get in the shuttle, fly out in the direction of the bat, and see why he moved. Why move away? There must be some reason that he moved away from here.
Hmm.
I'm gonna wait until everybody leaves, and then I'm gonna walk around recording things, and I'm just gonna be like, "This is the place, the first place where Alistair Westbrook lived for his 100-year journey. Look at this." And I'm gonna open the room to the bedroom, and I'm gonna point the camera or whatever in there, and I'll be like, "He lived here, right here in this bed," and then I'll point it at myself, and back at the bed, and I'll point it at myself again. I'll be like, "Chills. I have chills, bro. Chills."
Perhaps as you turn around, the sergeant's standing right behind you at the door. Your camera's like right into his chest.
Oh, hey, whoa.
Are the fish biting today, Mr. Gray?
I'm just, making a recording. It's for posterity,
How many followers did you say you had?
Over 10 million now.
Well,
Mostly from the zero-G parkour stuff I did a couple years ago.
I think you better follow us back to the shuttle. We're taking off.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So you get back in the shuttle, and you start following the bat as it travels ahead of you. And you travel for an hour goes by. And Olympus 3 says, "I have detected something on the trail.
What is it?
There appears to be a humanoid figure dragging a sled, heading back towards the landing site."
Well then, should we go meet him?
Son of a bitch.
Set us down
It is not
just ahead of
organic.
him.
Sorry, repeat.
Wait, what?
Scans indicate that the humanoid figure is not organic.
Robotic? Is it an
Unclear.
android? Did he have an android that we didn't know about?
Did he upload himself into an android body, maybe?
Or where would he get an android body?
That is true.
Was an android when it left?
Maybe they supplied him with a companion android. That might have been, the psychological protocol. It's not a basketball with a face on it. It's a synth.
Olympus run scans for potential landing site within short distance of the figure.
But there is a hill that looks promising.
Yep, take us, sir.
So you land on top of this small hill. And about 10 minutes from your vantage point on top of the hill, you see this solitary figure making its way along the ruts in the ground, dragging the sled behind it. The sled is empty. It looks like it was looking through binoculars of some kind. You see that it looks like a very basic robot. you wouldn't really call it an android. It's not. It doesn't have that like the artificial flesh to it. It seems just purely like a robot and not a very
Standard service
sturdy
model.
one. Like not a standard model you could identify. It looks pretty packed together, is the polite way to put it.
So
Approach with caution.
like he may have cannibalized some of his equipment to make this bot, probably.
Yes, that
Okay.
is the
Yeah.
impression that you get, and it's dragging this sled.
Has it given any indication that it has noticed us, or is it just moving steadily?
It's just moving steadily. It hasn't stopped to look up at you. I mean, the shuttle's pretty prominent on the hill. It's just going down the path. It hasn't stopped, slowed down, looked up at you.
It doesn't appear to be aggressive.
It's just
Oh,
carrying the sled.
Let's be cautious. Move to intercept.
I'm just following his programming.
Might just be an automated servo carrying
No.
the sled back and forth.
Maybe he's waiting further down the trail for it.
Could be, yeah. But Olympus said this bot is heading to where we just left.
Right.
Yep. Let's
Yeah.
intercept it.
So you scramble down this rocky hill, and you get on the sled path. You stand there, and it takes it another 2 minutes, but it walks up to you and stops about a yard away and stares at you. It has rudimentary blue eyes that appear like they once served as some kind of screen. It's very tall, gaunt, wiry. It holds up. It seems to hold up just fine in the lower gravity. You wouldn't expect this to be able to do much. If this was Earth, you'd think it would just wouldn't
I'm gonna
function very well.
tap Tex on the shoulder and be like, "Talk to it, bro."
I mean, they're designed to talk to anyone who responds, I would think. But hello, friend. We're looking for Dr. Alistister, for Alistair Westbrook. Do you know where he might be?
We're the pickup crew.
We're here to take him home, take you home.
No response.
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death.
Out,
Shakespeare.
brief candle.
Oh, hey, man.
Well, at least we know he had Shakespeare. Are you saying Alistair's dead?
I make the long trek through the dark.
For what purpose?
The night comes,
In 5
the
days.
long night.
He's talking about when the
Mhm.
Eclipse.
when the moon goes behind the
The gas giant,
gas
yes.
giant. Yeah. What,
Is
why do-
Alistair in this direction?
It doesn't answer that question.
Alistair Westbrook.
I think it's just
what is your designation? Do you have a name?
J91.
Fine. Well, J91, are you headed back to Mr. Alistair Westbrook's residence?
I travel through the long dark.
back and forth.
This is the path I tread.
Back and forth.
Are
I don't
you just
know.
doing this till you meet up with him again, or does he have
All
you
right.
do this on a regular schedule just till you meet up with him so you
Uh,
can sled him
well,
back?
well, I was thinking he might be going back to the landing site to get something if he has a sled with him, but
He might be going back and forth bringing stuff each time.
hmm
I could.
does Alistair need you to bring him something?
I bring back the feeble things to preserve a feeble thing.
Oh,
Let's fly on,
Yeah.
see where
If
the
we
path
step out of its
goes.
way, let's see if it
Okay.
continues on. And
Like, well then, don't let us don't let us keep you.
I'm
Let
going
us go
to
then,
I'm
you
going
and
to
I.
surreptitiously put a tracking pin on him so that
It doesn't react at all.
Well,
okay.
at least we know he was programmed to know some poetry. And I must say, Mr. Westbrook has good taste.
It's psychologically speaking, it seems like Alistair probably continually recited Shakespeare and things to keep his memory going. The robot picked him up, but we should be able to track the robot wherever it goes at
Mm.
this point.
Although, considering he just quoted the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, I'm a little concerned what we're going to find. Both that sonnet and Prufrock.
Either find him alive or dead or
we're dying. Feeble.
whatever.
Feeble
We'll have an
thing with a
answer.
feeble thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if he's got a residence he built further up. That might be a
Yeah.
good thing to find out.
Let's get our pity pace going.
Yep.
So you get back in the shuttle, and it takes you a few more hours of flying,
Following that path.
following
Wow.
that path.
we're headed towards the pole.
And here the ground is completely frozen over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we want to live
The
on
mountains are taller. And the
Be
path,
difficult.
it starts to become difficult to follow the path as it snakes its way into and uh, among the hills and mountains.
Well,
We
Bat
got
is scanning for anything organic along the way. If he dropped dead in the path, we should be able to locate what's left of him.
use
Nothing's
the
going to
time.
rot on this planet.
I doubt it, yeah.
Bat has identified a heat signature.
He's alive. That's something.
If it's not just a volcanic vent or something.
That's true.
We're still heading towards wherever Bat has got to at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use the time to make an update, and I'm gonna be like, we're on the trail of Alistair Westbrook. It's getting really exciting now. We met this weird, like, sad robot that called itself J91, and it was totally whack. But everybody get excited because we're almost there now.
So you see the feed you get from Bat is it has stopped above this hill, this smaller hill nestled among these mountains. The path, as it scans, you see this path goes up the hill and seems to go inside the hill. There is a
Cave.
cave.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Not a
If
bad
there's
place
heat,
to
then maybe he
move.
found a place to the heat signal with natural heat.
Mm-hmm.
we
And
go on
yes,
the vent.
during the flight in the shuttle, we definitely had to top up on the nitrox a couple of times. Oh,
Well, we don't need it in the shuttle.
well,
So
that's true, but still.
All right. We park right over there.
No,
It's
looks
pretty
like
rough and rocky and icy up here, so make sure, Olympus, make sure we get a solid landing site and we don't slide.
Are we on the side of
Unfortunately,
Olympus?
there's no suitable landing site near.
Is it possible?
Identified suitable
Oh.
landing site located 10 miles away from the
Oh.
current position of the bat.
Can we do a hover and drop?
That's what I was about to ask.
That is doable, but the risk to your safety should be taken into account.
Could do 10 miles? No problem.
Maybe
Gonna
you could.
Hours and hours to walk.
It would be awesome.
Is that also the nearest place you could land if, as you say, we encounter trouble out there? That 10
That
miles
is correct.
back.
it's very concerning.
I wonder if we could do a hover and drop here and clear a landing spot for the shuttle.
There we go.
Gray and I can go down. Shouldn't be much challenge for us, and nothing else. Make it easier for the two of you. We can
Get some melters and melt the
Mhm.
surface flat.
I like it. I like it.
I would like to override the autopilot so that I would feel better if I were making the decisions to keep the vessel steady while they drop.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Cording there, you can slide down the cord.
So what skills do you have, Tex? Remind me.
Let's see. Tex has I have piloting. I have
Okay, so give me piloting. So
okay.
you'll add that to your speed,
Okay.
and then you want to roll a D100 and roll below.
Okay. So my piloting is a plus 15 bonus, and my speed is 41. So I need 51, 56, about 55 or lower. And that is a 96. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's not a critical failure.
Don't we take some stress because he's
No.
Well, depends on what his.
Androids give you penalties to fear tests.
okay.
Fear saves. But in this case, it's just a matter of it's the currents of air that rush through this part of the moon make it difficult to actually stabilize the ship well enough. So anyone who wants to get out of the ship here will have to make a roll to avoid injury.
Yep, sounds good.
It might be easier. All right, so then maybe Sergeant Merrick and Mr. Gray might be the ones to try this.
Yeah.
They both have athletic skills that, I don't slide down ropes.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, so you could roll, both of you could roll speed. If you have a skill that you could argue is applicable, you can add it.
Athletics plus 10.
Yep, there you go.
I have athletics, yeah. I also have 0G. I don't know, probably not.
Yeah, we're not in
Success,
space.
45 under 46.
Woo!
Yeah, I got 54 under 58, so that's a success.
Wait, so you both land and roll, but you are uninjured.
Not bad, Gray. You just seem to know what you're doing.
Probably
Right
picked
back at you.
a flat area where there's ice to melt.
Yeah, so it takes them about an hour with the heat rays, but they melt a landing pad, and the shuttle lands.
Well then,
Excellent.
Well then, I say as I'm coming down the ramp to meet Sergeant Merrick and Nikki. Very well done. Thank you.
Sorry about the bumpy ride, gentlemen.
Can we
Thanks for keeping her steady, Tex.
like piton secure the ship so that the wind doesn't blow it off the ice pad?
Yeah, there are various anchors and things you could melt into the ice to keep the ship from going anywhere.
Are we actually like on the side of Olympus Mons?
No, we're not on Mars.
Oh, we're not on Mars. Okay.
All right. Shall we? There's the caves.
Yep. I pull my flashlight off my tool belt.
It is considerably colder here. I think I'm going to don my suit.
For the temp controls, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the interest of safety, just because until we get some mapping on the inside of that cave system, I think we should tether together and connect with winch back to the vessel.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Everybody pound an energy bar too.
All right, toss one here.
These have your face on them, Gray.
Yeah. Yeah. Fusion Microelectronics can thank you. You can thank them for that.
So kind of tastes like
Suits
shit.
on.
I get a lifetime supply.
Temperature adjusted to 72.5.
Suit on, adjust my temp control to a nice and toasty 75.
I should be all right. That's a sim.
All right.
Okay, well, again, until we confirm our situation, I'm taking point.
And I'll turn on the lamps so that if it's dark in there, we can see.
Squishy's in the back.
The daylight does not go so far into the cave. Eventually, the lights are required.
Mm-hmm.
But our archaeologists, it starts to prickle in the back of your head that this isn't a natural cave.
Okay. So, like,
did you notice this is
he
perfect?
Yeah, I think he would have had to carve his way in.
No, this is a little bit more. I think this is older than.
Older.
This looks artificial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they wouldn't have left him with the materials, the equipment to do something like this. This had to be here beforehand.
He may have found ruins on this planet. You never know.
Oh, maybe buried in the ice. Maybe that's what we're looking at right now.
Are we seeing any splitting paths or vertical passages?
No.
All horizontal and just straightforward path through it so far. Okay, let's continue deeper in.
All right.
Monitor the temperature as we go. See if there is, in fact, it's getting warmer as we go down.
It is getting warmer.
Okay, so adjust my heat control a bit. As we're heading on the way in, I'm gonna keep my eyes out for anything else that might give a hint of like if this is like the ruins of a civilization. I'm looking for like the markers that might suggest, is there like stuff carved on the walls? Is there like evidence of like architecture? Things like that.
Yeah, so as you're going, you see that you come across the remains of a robot.
Model that we recognize?
No.
Another handcrafted. Oh, here's another one of these servos that he put together, but it doesn't seem to be functioning.
Can we tell what stopped it from functioning? Is there signs of violence to it, or is it just immobile?
Yes, you look at it. I would ask for jury rigging if you want to
That's more text.
determine
See, I
the
have
exact cause of the robot's demise. It's hard to tell from just looking at it. You don't see any. The obviously that you would notice if it was there. It wasn't destroyed by a weapon or anything. There's no
Yeah. Okay.
blast
That'd be
marks or scorch marks.
I have jury rigging. I could. What do you want me to roll that with? Intellect?
Yeah, jury rigging.
So 62 or lower than 62. And that is a 60. Oh,
Woo!
yeah.
You determine that the motors that were driving it have burned out.
Hmm.
Probably overworked him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, we since got to get a union.
Yeah.
And you see as in your inspection, see etched into the metal that was not part of its original design. I mean, this is, Frankenstein monster of robots. It's assembled from a bunch of different things that were not meant to be robots. And you see etched into it J-78.
Oh. This must have been in one of his earlier models from J91, the current model. What is just making these things go up and back and forth?
Well, J91 did say he's bringing back feeble things for a feeble thing. So my thought would be he was bringing back supplies. Perhaps Mr. Westbrook can't physically make the trek himself.
That's quite possible. Or maybe
Also-
this is the feeble thing. He's trying to fix his buddy.
What is he finding? I mean, are we to believe that the designation is the number of robots he has created?
Very well might be.
91?
It could be.
Or he makes
That's a
new one
lot of robots. But of course, he's had 100 years.
And they're nowhere near as sophisticated as techs. They're
No,
built from existing materials
I
repurposed.
wouldn't have thought that an artist would have such skills, but no, who knows?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, a lot of people who work at facilities that make androids, some of them will describe what they do as an art.
Yeah, but he was a virtual reality person, wasn't he?
Where is all the art? Speaking of which, is this guy such an amazing artist? Shouldn't there be like
virtual
evidence?
Well, maybe he put the virtual things like inside these robots that he made, like to hold them, to store them.
I don't know.
This cave is not a cave. It's definitely too smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't hollowed out by a blaster or anything like that. This is
Sentient
old.
species lived here.
I don't even think this
ago.
isn't even ice. This is rock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he found it was already made, he would just move right in.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's warm down here.
Let's keep moving.
Let's keep moving.
Yeah, I'll find this guy.
Okay, so you keep moving, and you find the remains of 3 other robots.
Oh my Lord!
Are they all burned out?
Yeah, they all suffered the same fate.
Any
All numbers?
designations you can see?
Preceding J91.
So there's J91, then you found J78, then there's J53, there's J42, there's J31, and there is J8.
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 Oh my!
So yes, he's definitely been building bots for a long time.
Is this the art?
Maybe.
I mean, I could see that, especially if he's thinking, them as art, both as form and function. But we won't know until we find him.
Dr. Carter, when I start to break down, will you donate my body to the art museum on Titan?
Of course.
Well, thank you.
Actually, Tex, that brings up something. What's he cannibalizing? Obviously, he's not cannibalizing the other robots that he's made to make new robots.
Well, Burned out the part. What did he
A
have that
lot
he
of
could?
raw material and I mean, we can see it's repurposed, but it's still a lot of
When
gear.
we
Hey.
look at the robots, do we recognize bits and pieces of that? Like, are they parts of a ship, part of things that are familiar with?
Hey, Olympus, could you send us a
Yeah,
complete
so
manifesto what he bought down, what was left with him here? See if we
uh,
can see if this adds up.
Olympus cannot talk to you now that you're underground.
You're in the
Oh,
cave.
we have no
dang.
signal.
Oh,
You looking at some of the brand names and things of this equipment. He was sent with uh, stuff to make implanted experiences, which is a lot of computer equipment.
hmm.
A lot of computer equipment.
But he's
It seems
cannibalized it
that
all.
it seems that he's cannibalized the things that he was sent with to make his art to
Hmm.
build these robots.
Maybe
Well,
maybe the bots are the art then.
yeah, maybe he's like, I mean, that one was the first one we met, J91 was quoting Shakespeare and
100 years is a long time. You could have changed
poetry.
vocations during that time too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe got bored
Wow.
and started this project, whatever the fuck it is.
I mean, you guys
let's-
didn't like it, like be in it for a year, being in those cryopods. I mean, stuck somewhere 100 years. Oh,
I imagine he might have been trying to make companions, but
yeah.
you know, anyway, we'll find out eventually when we get here. I'm wondering now, Sergeant, if you weren't correct in thinking he could be dead. These could just be the remnants of his projects that are wandering around doing nothing in particular.
Just time. Just
Maybe program them to like preserve themselves if you did
I
die.
don't know.
I mean,
I would think
you don't
he
know
would,
that.
he would be repairing them or fixing them as they
Yeah.
went
Maybe he
along.
can't anymore. Maybe he's
I
dead.
think-
He's just
Like
the
I said, maybe
robots
he's
trying to
dead.
do it.
they're just fulfilling programming that doesn't lead to anything.
Yeah, just like a bunch of sad robots.
You can't give up on him yet. We haven't even found, where the trail leads.
We're
I
not
know.
giving up on him. Let's just
We're-
keep going.
Yeah, I'm just trying
Although
to figure
I-
out what's
like
We're
going
I
on.
speculating.
So the
Although-
slant
Yeah, go
of your
on.
travel starts to go down. And you see a faint light.
Like lava or like or magma
Artificial.
or artificial. Oh, good.
The ground is now rock, not ice any longer.
So
Oops.
yeah, the skate bored through the ice, bored through the rock. And in this case, it's not just the impressions that this is artificial. There are now regular, almost slab-like
Yeah. Archways.
archways in the
Wow.
rock, but they're not quite like archways. They don't follow
They weren't made
What
by
you-
humans.
right.
Right.
Hmm.
Any kind of identifiable language or lettering? We don't even know what to look for.
Right.
Well, if there's artificial light down there, there's something that needs to see. So
Mm-hmm.
hoping that's our target, Dr. Westbrook.
Let's move in.
You arrive in a perfectly cube chamber.
Hmm.
Hovering in the middle of this perfect cube is a smaller perfect cube, perfectly smooth, floating in the air.
This
The
is
light that
alien
you see
technology.
is there are lights in the corners of the cube, these kind of outdoor lighting, things that are shining, illuminating the space. And you see a figure, a middle-aged man, long graying beard, long graying hair, seated just on the ground, the hard ground. His eyes are closed, kind of propping
Mr.
himself up.
Okay.
Dr. Westbrook. No
Oh,
response.
here I was thinking that the rest of the universe would have forgotten about me.
No, we're the team that was sent to retrieve you. It's been 100 years.
Has it?
Indeed.
Yes, we've actually been in cryo for a year just to even get here.
All this way. Were some words on a page, a few signatures.
Was it you who taught J91 Shakespeare?
Is that what I taught that one?
Well, that and Elliot.
Oh. I don't know who else would have taught him those things.
We've brought you some food and drink. It's probably quite a bit different than what you've been used to over the past few decades. How are you feeling?
Tired.
I can't imagine, but I can, well, no, I suppose I can.
I'm gonna pull an energy bar out and just be like, bro, try one of these.
Oh no.
Like, mad respect. And I'm gonna put my fist out for him to bump, and he probably is just gonna look at it like doesn't even recognize it.
Yeah, he just gives you this blank look.
Yeah. I'll just
Well,
okay.
I want to use my psychology skill on him. And
Can
see
I
if
get a
he's
promotional? Can I get a promotional with you, dude?
Maybe not right now.
okay? Nick, give him a few
Yeah.
minutes.
This is the perfect time.
A promotional. What
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
is it that we're
Here.
promoting?
Yeah, I'll just get just say fusion microelectronics. That's all you got to do.
I have seen in my long lifetime corporations do incredibly stupid things.
you and me both.
Sending a kid all these light years just for me to say their brand name is not the stupidest.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that as a compliment.
Ship's outside. It's time to get moving. We got orders to get you back home.
Is there anything you need us to bring with you? Does he seem psychologically quite fit, or
He hasn't talked out that much. He hasn't
yeah?
moved from a spot on the floor.
Yeah. So this
Should we
floating
check
box.
his health? Oh, go ahead.
This floating box, what you've been working on up here?
Oh, this isn't my work.
Yeah, we were
Came
kind of
with the
thinking
tunnels.
that we were kind of thinking that when we came in.
How did you do it, bro? How did you make it 100 years without anybody else? Like, what's your secret? Do you meditate?
I'm going to check his health, just
Yeah,
make
check
sure
the
that he's
vitals.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start scanning his health. Whatever is in the cube came all this way to bury itself here.
Really? Hmm.
Well, then
Actually-
it's
Do you not recognize a sepulcher when you see it?
I tilt my head a little bit. Oh, this does look like a tomb somewhat. Now that I think about it, as I'm looking
Of course,
around.
that's just me projecting, probably.
Hmm.
Anthropocentrism's hard to escape. Who knows? Maybe it's
It-
not a tomb. I don't know what else it would be.
Well,
Tex,
Art,
Texas,
maybe.
Tex has been walking around the cube slowly looking at it. He's gonna
It has no markings. It's perfectly smooth.
hmm. He's
well,
gonna
you've
touch it.
Go on.
He's gonna put his hand on it because he wants to.
So to reach the cube, you have to stretch up and touch it.
Hmm.
It's warm, but that's perfectly smooth to the touch. It's warm. It's not hot.
Okay. It doesn't try to connect in some way as a.
No.
Okay. Hmm.
well, whatever it is, whether it buried itself here or not, it's beautiful in a sort of melancholy way, much like most of this planet that I've seen so far.
Mr. Westbrook, are you prepared to come with us at this time? We're going to take you back to the University of Mars.
I would prefer to die here if it's all the same to you.
Well, there's been a lot of money invested in your project. Um,
Oh, you could find the project out in the hallway.
The
Or
the
I
the other
suppose if you wait another 3 months, J91 will return.
We don't have that long.
we can always pick J991 up on the way, but I know
For
I know what
what
you mean.
purpose? What good would it do to retrieve J91?
Well, if nothing
What else
else,
does it have to do?
well, I mean, you're you're not wrong. But
Well,
There's something innately cruel, perhaps, about watching the wind-up clock you fashioned slowly wind out of time.
is that not what you're doing to me right now?
well,
um,
Winding down. That's what we're all doing. That's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what
tomorrow and tomorrow and
he's
tomorrow.
doing.
we have a mandate. We came this way to retrieve you, and we don't want to do that against your will, but we actually
Good,
have
then
to.
leave.
We can't do that either.
Bro, it's just like Sharky Mogul.
It is part of your. It is a condition of your grant that once the 100 years are over, you're supposed to come back. Unless you don't think that applies anymore.
I'm going to use kind of sign language towards Dr. Carter, indicating that we might need the sedative.
I'm gonna sneak over.
Words don't enforce themselves. Or do they? They worm our way inside. And they brought you here, those words of 100 years ago. If you weren't here to carry out the word's will, then the words would be useless. But fortunately, they have their puppets, their wind-up things. So good for you, I guess, spending the time before you run down, flying out here to visit me. Hold me to the words.
I'm going to whisper to Sarge. You know we have to retrieve the cube. It is when you look at the agreement and the contract and what the corporation wants. We need to retrieve those.
Even if it isn't his works. Yeah, let's wait till the doctors finish and
So I'm going to try to provide a slight distraction by engaging him while Dr. Carter quietly administers the sedative.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we want to make sure you're at least safe and healthy. You seem to have done very well. Your augments have kept you strong and alive.
Yes, they performed their function. You performed your function.
Do you really want to die?
Perhaps. I've lived a long time.
That's so cool, dude.
Dr. Carter.
Right, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to see, like, while he's talking. I don't know. Would that be an to administer the med? Would that be an intellect roll?
I'm not going to make you roll. He's not resisting.
Okay.
So as soon as she does that, if he looks like he's going to collapse, I'll help grab a hold of him.
Yeah, so you inject him. And he sits there for a moment. It's the work that they want. You could retrieve it. And he leans forward and he touches a plate in the back of his skull.
Does he look like he's losing consciousness?
No.
I'm not terribly shocked because the augments might be counteracting the sedative.
Is that what you've been working on the whole time?
Implanted experiences.
Is there an access point to it, or is there any type of removable media from it?
No.
Yeah.
How do we check it out?
We take him back and do our job and not worry about, we'll let the other people worry about that.
Now let's just get your arms up here like that if someone wants to grab the legs.
I'm not very athletic, so...
Do you want to walk or do you want us to carry you? It's not very dignified.
As I said, I would prefer to die here.
Oh, we can't always get what we want.
Don't make me start singing Rolling Stones as we're carrying him out of this cave, or I might have to smack you, Sergeant.
You might feel a bit differently once we get you back.
This here is Tex, and back on the ship, Tex cooks a pretty good breakfast. Once you come back with us, you might find...
You can't just take a guy against his will. He wants to stay.
No, I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Evil, up we go, Doctor.
He reaches a hand out. I suppose it doesn't matter. I thought I would see J91 one last time. Do you know where the work is?
We can go retrieve him.
Goodbye. And he reaches into his augmented components in his chest, and he just rips.
God damn it.
Well, technically, we just have to retrieve him. It's not really certified whether he's dead or alive.
Bro,
However,
I'm going to turn to Sergeant Merrick and be like, look what you did.
Sarge.
Look what I...
He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. The man took his own life. You
didn't give him a choice.
Yeah.
No, we didn't give him a choice. We were on a job.
We signed an agreement with the
corporation. We're not here for moral judgment. Let's get him back.
Our interest is getting out of here before that damn eclipse.
And I heard you guys talking about, why would we want that? Is it going to be useful for anything? That's not in the
It's an alien artifact.
We will be retrieving it.
We could theoretically send another crew back to get it.
I didn't even get a chance to interview him.
Well, he committed suicide, so
yeah, Fusion Electronics is going to be pissed.
Yeah.
We'll
They should still
send
be able to get
Scotty.
all these components out of him, and
If nothing else, yeah.
maybe there's a memory core.
We should
Well,
perhaps take.
he did say, as I tapped the back of my head, that
Yeah.
the art is in that plate. So that if that excuse me.
Oof.
Oh, it's always threes.
Yep.
Anyway, if
No, we've
that
got an alien virus and we're all gonna die.
if that can be extracted safely, even from his corpse, then that's still the job done.
We're taking.
We
his
just were
corpse.
told to retrieve him. Let's retrieve him.
Yep.
With all this, with all this machinery in him, who knows? Maybe we plug him in back in the ship and he comes right back. Maybe just.
Let's put him in a cryo tube and
Yeah.
let's retrieve these robots too that we've at
Yeah.
least what is it,
J91.
J91.
Demonstrate the work. Any that we can take. I mean, most of them are non-functional.
Otherwise, everything else is going to be just sitting here.
Before
I don't know what we can do. We don't know anything about that cube.
Do we have any? Do we
to-
have enough space for that? That's why I'm thinking send somebody later.
Oh, it's not. It's like that, isn't it?
How big?
Yeah, the perfect cube. It's not exactly meter cube.
Okay. It's
But-
less than 3 feet, so we can.
I guess I prefer
Can
not
we
to fuck-
move it?
I guess I
No.
would prefer.
If you try to move it, it does not budge.
Yeah.
Ah,
We'll have
okay.
to send a scientific team back to study.
Yeah.
it, whatever
Plus,
it is.
I would really rather not fuck about with unknown alien artifact while we've got
Well.
yeah.
That's your bonus. I prefer a little extra pay for something like that.
I mean,
Well, we
nothing-
did discover it, so
we discovered it. I grab out my little personal computer thing, take a couple pictures, so we can at least tell them what they're going to find. That's still that'll also get us the bonus.
we can
It's
leave
just-
a beacon here.
It's just we couldn't physically transport it. Was all.
We'll have to come up with a way to.
All right, let's get this over with. I would like to get back home. It's going to be another year to get back home.
Agreed. Okay. Well, Sergeant, Mr. Gray, would you well, I gesture to the still body of Mr. Westbrook.
At least the ship's nearby. We don't have to drag him on a sled or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pick him up. Lead the way.
You pick up, he's pretty light. You walk back out past the worn down bodies of the robots. And you make your way back to the ship. And when you exit the cave, Olympus Ree says, "Have you found Alistair Westbrook?"
We
Yes.
have.
It's your
Unfortunately, he decided to take his own life, but we are going to bring his body back as per the agreement.
Understood.
Open up the pod bay door.
Of course.
Are we going to check out the art?
In order to extract it,
We don't have the technology.
we don't have the equipment.
We'll take it back to university and have them work on it.
Okay, so a year goes by. Another month after that, as the data drives implanted in his skull are decrypted and sorted through. Dr. Erica Thornton approaches you all and says, "Well, we have finally extracted the final work of art of Alistair Westbrook. is an implanted experience, as his previous works all have been. It seems fitting to offer you all the first opportunity.
Is there any danger?
We don't know.
Oh,
I mean, implanted experiences have been known to cause paranoid breakdowns, loss of a sense of the real.
I'm doing it. I didn't get a chance to interview him.
I think I'll pass. I've got too much here to work. I certainly don't want to experience 100 years
Well,
all alone on a planet.
I think if once they've had time to add some safeguards, perhaps I will, but for now, no.
I've got enough ghosts of my own. I don't need to carry any of his.
Yeah, do it to Nikki.
Do it to Nikki.
So Nikki Gray, as you are hooked up, your vision of those around you looking onwards.
100 years of experience. I'm going to download all in one session. Survivalist experience.
It all fades away. One step, 2 steps. The sled is heavy. It's dark, but you know the path. You've walked it before. And that is the end of our story.
J91. He is the art.
Oh, Nikki. You're going to
might have
walk
made a
that path
mistake.
for 100 years.
Yeah. Oh, well. That's
Very
when
interesting.
narcissism gets you.
Nice.
I liked it.
Very cool.
So Morgan, tell us your inspiration, your ideas.
So this was, well, as Thom said at the beginning, when he said that I wrote this 30 minutes before we started, that was true, because we had an emergency replacement game, and Thom suggested sad robots. So I was thinking about sad robots, running sad robots, and then I started thinking about the short story Zima Blue by
One of my favorites.
Alistair Reynolds. Which you can watch the excellent adaptation in the first season of Love, Death, and Robots. So thinking about this sad robots and art, and not wanting to, just crib and make a slightly distorted rendition of Zima Blue. But that's what I was thinking about. Sad robots led me to think about Zima Blue today, which led me to this in the half an hour that I thought about it before we started. So
Cool.
I hope you enjoyed.
It's fun.
Oh no, that was lovely.
We have a lot of fun just role playing these games.
Yeah.
Cool. Our players included Jen Obertaz, Mike McKinn, Joe Bardella, Stefan Amshi, and myself, with Morgan Llewellyn as the game warden. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you'd like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the strange and sometimes terrifying universe of the Mothership role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and Good gaming.
In the fading twilight, where the days drift by, would you wait